So in today's episode, I'm gonna talk about we're just one idea away from making it happen. So um, it's a if we pick that idea or not, it is our choice. But just one idea is enough, and that one idea can actually explode. So that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Okay, so a little. Oh, so idea wise, like I've been trying out ideas like since childhood. Um, why, if you ask me? So from my parents tried to send me to. So those my parents actually went to a school which is 100% in local language when they were growing up. So they realized when they got to university, they struggled language wise. So they thought like, oh, it's a good idea to probably uh, get kids to English medium school and get them public school, going to not to a public school, to a private school. So then they financially struggle like so hard. And they just didn't want to give up on it. You know, when it comes to kids, we all, as parents, we want the best for them, like ever, and we try and try. Sometimes we fail, but it's all about trying, and every parent does that. So they also did the same thing. And growing up, uh, we go to school like very late. First of all, in the month, we are not there in school because we didn't pay the fees. And then in between as well, like some months we have skipped the fees, and it's actually, I feel like it is so bad. I won't do that. If I run a school, I won't do that to any kids. um, they asked us to like stand outside the class. So there was this burning fire inside of me, like growing up itself, like I want to do something different. I want to actually make something happen. uh, but story changed last time. My brother was here. He was doing his research at the University of Rochester, and I was also here in Calgary working at the like in the physio clinic. And then we were together. We went back to India at the same time almost, and we went to the school we studied, and we were standing there and we were telling the stories. My mom was wiping her tears, right? It was, how the things switched around like over time. So, just I said the story just, I want to mention to people that I don't come from a background with many people helping us, many people where I didn't had like any background of anything. This is all like just having that fire inside of me and having uh, like just making it happen. Okay, and picking on ideas, like, and I never rejected ideas. So the first self-employment was when I was in sixth grade or seventh grade. um, I decided to tutor kids, okay, like small kids. And so then I started like making money that like that. So uh, it's funny that my cousin actually sent me a Christmas card saying that Merry Christmas to teacher and her family. It's so funny that I was like, who is this teacher? I don't even recognize myself as a teacher. That when he sent that, I was like, oh my god, who is this teacher he's talking about? And then did I get a wrong Christmas card, right? So then after that, like um, mm, I switched. My parents switched me to a public school eventually, and things got better. But still, we struggled, and I thought like, okay, for the now I don't have school fees, but I still do have to pay for my travel. So I thought, okay, traveling, I need to make for my bus passes and everything. I decided to send grow jasmine plants and then sell jasmine flowers. So that's how I used to get like money for my basically my bus passes. So it's when I think about it, the entrepreneur in me was there when I was even young. Uh, it it's funny like when I think about it right now. Yeah, I was like that. It's different. We don't see it when we were young. We are just in the moment. We are doing things. But uh, and then I got to university, and I thought, like, having extra income is a good idea. But and then I went and picked up a bigger project, which is like medical transcription, which you need to study a little bit and also like do it right. And then you have assignments, then you have like exams. All of these projects are on over there, and then you're like, oh no, I cannot do it. But I literally convinced my grandparents to get me a desktop and also like go for the course a little bit. Um, you know for you there is always somebody need to support you, and that was my grandparents. And they were always there for me, like, okay, do it right. So they cheered me, and they actually like sent me, but that desktop stayed like collecting dust there. But then my brother used it for his engineering studies. So then fast forward, I came to Canadian like school here in Canada. So went to Mohawk College here, and while I was in school, this you end up with people who are like you always. I actually had the opportunity of going and working in a spice business, which has been run by a person for about like 40 years. And he likes to tell his stories. And he was telling me all of these stories of like how he started and how he made like all this happen for and running for like 40 years, and some strategies he follows. And at that time I never had that thought of like, one day I will become a business owner or anything like that. So I went through it, and at that point, like, for me it was just like a 3-hour job, nothing big to it. But uh, it's funny that how I used all that knowledge I got from him eventually. And when I got into a crisis situation with my work permit. So, what happened was I lost my work permit, and then the new one did not come. And that means my PR doesn't stay. I need to do something. So, I sent like so many applications for different jobs. Everybody was like, no, you don't have a work permit right now, so we cannot hire you. Or I never got a call. As usual, like when you need a job, it's not there. So then started like that, and then got into like, okay, so what do I do? What do I do? Like, I need to like get this happening somehow. So then I what so this guy who was like doing helping me out in the beginning to find that 3-hour job, he told me that in an incorporated business you're an employee. So why can't I use that idea to actually make my work permit happen? So I went ahead and incorporated a business, started a thrift store, and got my work permit back, because and PR as well in 6 months, because right now I'm a self-employed person, but I'm just like in an incorporated business as an employee. So I used that strategy, started that was the one biggest project I have done. It is so funny that I cannot actually, I don't even know anything about business, like zero knowledge about business, no idea what to do. I don't know how to handle like how cash wise, um, every day. Like, I don't know how to do anything. It was a great 6 months MBA program for me, and and it is it's just one of those things we never think that we will go through, but at that moment that was the best thing. I thought, if I ask somebody, um, doing a business, will it help me for my permanent residence, the answer will be no. If I ask somebody about like, uh, will the will I be able to like do a business, they will be like giving me like 1,000 ideas, do that business, do this business. So for me, like, okay, whatever is in front of me, I'm just doing it. For me in my head, like, okay, thrift store is a good idea because I don't have to buy my inventory. So that was like, that's how I started, like, okay. And then during that time I learned like different type of marketing. Like, it was just like, I want to make it happen even though I'm doing it for permanent residence. I want to continue doing it. So I started looking into different type of marketing, how I can actually like make ads work. uh, how to bring in people in front of my store. That's basically it was like. So doing all of that, I got like hands-on knowledge on like a lot of things. Nobody can actually like even tell me I gained nothing out of it. It was great. I sold the business right after like I got my work permit and PR coming back to me, and then so I closed the business, but I still actually wanted something for myself, like my own. I thought about different things, and they all needed like, okay, physio clinics needs like a lot of money and everything, like when, and I'm looking at it like there's a bigger projects. Okay, so I can't actually take up a bigger project. So okay, I thought like, okay, so what do I do now? And then at that time my friend of mine was running like a grocery store, and she had a kitchen at the back which she was not using. So she's like, why don't you actually do this, like make evening kitchen? So I'm like, okay, all right, I will come and do evening kitchen in your store. So we did evening kitchen, just uh, like evenings, just only open like from 5 o'clock. So we did like that evening kitchen, and it was good. And then eventually, when she sold the store, and I also left that business. So that was like business wise, like one thing at a time. This is the progression of it. How to do this different part, like uh, pieces of this. I pieced it together at the end and got into a better business. So during that time, Charles, can you pause?
Yep.
I'm getting runny.
Action.
So when I first did the thrift store business, I I started the store and then tried to do the marketing. Okay, so then I realized, say for the evening kitchen, I realized that okay, marketing comes first and then comes the store. So I did like marketing first and then the store. So it was like a learning curve for me. Like if you're doing a business, like marketing is the first thing. uh, didn't know that first. So that was like new learning for me. And from there on, like um, I saw an opportunity. Like I don't remember exactly where it was. Some ads came up, and I went to uh, an event. It was at a hotel in Calgary, and I thought, okay, I will go. And it was one of those Robert Kiyosaki event, and I got it like a DVD from there. I came home and I listened to it, and he was talking about like that concept of like uh, how you go from employed, self-employed, business owner, and investor. I heard about the quadrant for the first time from there, and I was like so curious. And they were like talking about how you can be like a real estate investor in that without like having a big amount of money and all that. So I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Maybe talk to a few friends about it. So I had a friend in um, as a she was flipping the houses, and she was also doing like 1,000 things in while doing that. So I'm like, that's a hectic lifestyle. I don't want to do that. So then I asked her, like, do you make a lot of profit? And she told me the downsides of, like, we have to do the staging, we have to clean it up and everything, like, so I thought, like, maybe that's not something for me, but I will still think about it. Maybe still think about the license, taking a realtor license or anything like that. And that at that time, that is when a friend of mine talked to me about we can do financial services, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money to take the license. So I thought, okay, maybe I will look into it. And I went and actually listened to their presentations, and just went ahead and listened to everything what they want to actually say about the business. But I like, boss. I am actually. I just have to look.
Take your time.
Oh, okay, I didn't actually do one few things I wanted to say. Um, so I just have to like do a little cutting from where I got the DVD, and I'm gonna repeat that again. So you probably will hear that, and then you can clip that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go.
Okay. I got this free DVD from this Robert Kiyosaki event. So I listened to it like with great passion. Okay. So then eventually, like I watched it, and um, like they talked about like borrowing money to actually do real estate investment, and then flip basically like what I understood was it was like flipping the houses they were talking about. But then I realized that that's 50% taxed. Capital gain taxes are on it, and I'm like, how can we actually like I realized that it's not the best idea to do that, because you're not actually like making a lot of money, and on like constant basis you're not making money. You are basically doing it once and you're done. And I'm like, how can I do something like which gives me like something recurrent income instead of. And then I also learned in that time I did a lot of research in that area, and I realized that in real estate the money is in real estate investments and holding the investments for a long period of time. And so those are like so instant money is not there, like, guys, it's one of those things, right? If it comes to you faster, that means it is a scam. Like anything fast is scam. Anything which comes to you like slow and steady, that's what we need to pick. So that's one of the things I learned coming to like on with my research regarding the real estate purchase and flipping and selling and all that, and also like about taking the realtor license. I thought about it, and then I'm like, no, it's not what I want. I want like more like real estate investment, not a realtor license. I recently found out that last a year ago there was a big real estate boom happening, and there was a lot of people going and taking realtor license, thinking that that is what the opportunity is. But then this uh, idea of like in real estate investment and holding it for a long time, people did not get it in their head, and it just became like one of those um, scams and taking the license, right? So, and I did not go into it, and I looked into other opportunities at that time. Funny enough, I actually did a eBay, Amazon seller account, and everything I could possibly think of. I bought stuff like which are on sale, and sold it on eBay. Then eventually did some drop shipping, all of that. Like, just wanted like something else for myself and on the side, and not depending on just the um, basic salary, or like being there as an employee. It was like it's too much for me, being an employee and being stuck at one place. I felt like more after doing that thrift store. I'm like, oh my god, that lifestyle is good. Like, you can actually go around anywhere. You're controlling your day. I like that idea of it. I was going to gym in the morning, then going to church, and then going to the store. So it was nicer compared to having like running to work every day, and I'm getting exhausted. And I was exhausted with the business too. There was bills to pay. I had to make things happen, but you know what? There was a joy in it, and I liked it. I really liked that freedom and joy in being self-employed, and I continued searching for like ideas. So during that time is when I heard about like running your own distribution, okay, in financial sector. So the person told me about this idea is like he told me basically having bigger distribution, you can actually make a lot of money out of this. The distribution is what you are actually building, being a distributor in it. So I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So maybe I look into it, okay. So so then I asked him like, how can I do that? So he said like, okay, you gotta take a license for running this business. So okay, so I will go ahead and I will do the license. But during that time, that's the same time as I got pregnant and I was about to have my baby. But I was also in a lot of stress because uh, we went and started. Um, Me and my husband, we were starting to live in like one of our relatives' place, and it was a lot of pressure. Like, um, so basically, we were. I'm just saying my personal story here, a little bit emotional as well. Um, so during that time, I I was working. When I was doing all of this, I was still working. Okay, so I was still working, and then I was transitioning from. So baby's born, and I was actually like going on maternity benefits, but they put my maternity benefits on hold. You know how Canadian families are, we live paycheck to paycheck most of the time. And I also took like an early maternity leave. So that 3 months of like not working. And during that time as well, like I didn't get paid. So I thought like, okay, maternity benefits are going to come through when the baby's born. So I was waiting for that and it's not happening. And I'm like calling around and what's happening, why it's not coming. So when I changed from my um, study from my work permit to my permanent residence, there was like the SIN number change, which the employer did not do. So they send their record of employment to the previous one. Uh, so I was not getting that, and the family is basically like, you have the money and you are not actually paying the house. I'm like, I just do not have the money. So then I'm like, I can never let this happen. Like, this is all the struggles of an employee. I don't ever want this happen to me anymore. I want to make it happen. So up until then, I was not thinking about like finishing that license. I did like one part of it, and then I'm like, I'm putting it aside. And then when this happened, I basically, what I did was I was going every day and just finished it. I just finished it because I want things to happen in my life. So I want, and then from here on, I won't say like there was like a magic wand and magic happened. In the beginning, I started slowly because the interesting thing about like coming into financial services, I did not had the courage to do anything, courage to actually like plan for another person. I was like, oh my god, I'm planning for another person and their entire life. I have to be very very careful here. If I do any mistake, it is like gonna have like a lot of impact on other person's life. So I'm like being very careful. So that also means that you don't actually do like bigger moves. So you are basically making like a small, doing smaller plans and smaller services that you don't have the courage to do it. So the first few months went like that, and I saw success, but I did not see like a bigger, more than $1,000 was not there. And got my license and everything updated like in February. But until May, I was doing these little plans, which are like, maybe like kids plan, like RESP plans or anything like small. I cannot actually think about anything big. So then in May is when I actually did like a bigger planning for a family of with 2 kids, and that's when I got my first $2,000. Isn't that awesome? Like during that time, also like we were really financially struggling. We wanted to move from that relative's home, and that $2,000 actually saved our life. And we moved out from that house and started having like our own family, our baby, and it was like an awesome time. And that happened, like it just happened with that $2,000. It's amazing how just $2,000 can make a difference in a family. And it was really awesome. And I still get, you know for many people probably 2000 is not much big anymore, but For us, it was at that time. For us, it was. And then eventually, what happened was down the road, few months later is when we found out like our daughter is getting sick and she's having like some health issues and all of that. And we were uh, I had to pause the business. I couldn't focus on anything. We were like straight up in hospital. So, but during that time, what I did differently, like 100%, I involved myself in self improvement, reading books, listening to audiobooks. I these are all ideas I got from getting into this business and getting having mentors in the business. So I started improving myself. I started improving. So I did a lot of work around like how I can improve myself, how can I be a better person, how can I do a lot of things differently. So that self improvement work, after uh, I did that for like about 2 3 years of just straight up like self improvement, nothing more. I created a plan for my day. I changed myself a lot. I became a better person during that time. Not just for myself, I also became a better person for my daughter, and also for the. I knew that I'm not gonna leave the business because I saw the money and I don't want it to leave. And then I'm like, I'm gonna stick around and I wanna do it. So so then I came back into business, and you know, all of that self improvement work actually just happened. And first month itself, I actually made my first $5,000. So it was amazing how all of that behind the scene work I did on myself, improving the strength in myself, like the getting rid of the weak person I am and getting into stepping up into the person who I want to be. And also like planning a lot in my head, not in reality. I actually picturized all of this in my head first before making it happen. So that is my first few $1,000 story. And this is generally like I want to say one thing to everybody, that you know if you find an idea and your heart says it is all looking good, you go for it. you know if you ask like 10 friends about it, and so normally they say that you will be the effect, you have like friends who will be like almost like you, five of you look at your five friends and you'll be the sixth person who will be having the same income and same lifestyle, right? So if you want to think something differently but you got an idea and you want to actually change yourself, just go for it. And do not ask for opinions. Do not actually like look into uh, anything like, if I were to like Google up about like ideas, negative things, like Google comments are basically like all of them. You only like look for what is negative over there. You don't really get like good ideas or good, if you look up like basically take a business, right? And look for uh, the rating of it or the comments under it, your eyes will automatically go into all of that is negative. So very few positive actually people post there. So that is also not a good idea. So but if your heart actually knows what you need and what is good and what is bad, like we have this intuition in ourselves, and if you feel it, just go for it. I did that with all the businesses I did. I did not ask for other people's opinion and other people's ideas getting into my head and having that coming to me. So anybody who is listening to me today, that is what I want to actually say. You're just like one idea away. You're just one idea away from making it happen and for your family. That's it. Thank you.
Great. On action.
So I have with me here somebody who helps me in this journey, like making Legacy Flex podcast happen. His name is Charles, and he's here with me. He's the one who is recording for me. So Hi, Charles.
Hello, everyone. Ooh, I'm a bit too high. So,
Yeah.
hello, everyone. Nice episode, Anu. Actually, I had a few questions for you.
Yeah.
So, why Canada in the first place?
I didn't hear
So, I said, why Canada in the first place? Like, why did you move from India to Canada, not like, let's say, USA or Europe? Or
it. Why Canada? It's an interesting question. Um, I so in the last episode I said that your
Mhm.
thoughts are things,
Yeah,
and it's funny that I didn't wanted to. I was like, I grew up in a country where the country was colonized by British.
Mm.
So I never wanted to go to UK. So that is like 100% cut off. But we're all like in the Commonwealth countries, but it didn't make any difference. I mean, it did make difference in my head those days. Um, uh, but yeah, I didn't want to go to UK at all, so I cut off UK. But
Mhm.
then I had this idea of like, okay, I want to go to America. Was the thing. I never heard about Canada growing up. So
Yeah.
America was the because I had my uncle here already in
Mm.
he lives in New Jersey. So I was for me like, okay, when uncle comes in, I think his lifestyle is good.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, maybe America is the place. But then I ended up in North America. So that's how Canada happened. Like the same question asked as some of my physio friends asked me, like, why did you come to Canada? Like, physios are not well paid in India. That was the answer at that time. And
Mm.
then I'm like, and they were like, surprised, they're not well paid here either. So, yeah, so um, that was two reasons. Like, you don't have a lot of job opportunities in India. Like, yes, there is job opportunities, but you are not actually like paid a lot,
Mm.
especially in the medical profession. You were not paid very well. So I thought like it's a good idea to just move somewhere else.
Very
Yeah.
good. My second question is about business itself. So you mentioned a lot of business ideas, but can you go more maybe in depth about business failure in business? Maybe like we can have a more detailed episode in it, but like just your
And the
first take.
failure in business means I was only like uh, 25 years old when I
Mhm.
started that thrift store.
Yeah.
And it was not, see, business needs a lot of planning to go in, and you have to structure it out in the beginning. It's not like randomly you walk in and you take a store and actually run the business.
Mm.
Uh, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
At 25 years old, with no direction, just basically was desperate about getting my PR. And it was not something, I did not plan anything.
Mm.
Like, to be honest, I did not had any idea that you have to market it, where to find inventory, where to actually like this thrift store business. I know one thing right now going into that. um, just recently in on CBC radio I heard about it. This in the part in the gas stations and all, you see the boxes which where you can drop and
Yeah.
go. So those drop and go boxes, this charitable organization, they have a drop and go box somewhere in Montreal area. And I was listening to CBC radio about it. Two of them gives them $1.5 million. Can you imagine? I was in the same business.
Wow.
It's funny that it's the same business. You can actually scale it to that point. Like you can work it out differently, and um, was the same hustle I was doing, but having no direction and having no planning was what went wrong in there.
Mm.
That was the failure in that, and um, y- you have to do a whole lot of work. It's
Mm.
yourself finding out like what's next,
Mhm.
what you can actually achieve out of it. But by the time I closed, I had a lot of ideas by that time. But once I reached there, I ran out of money.
Mm.
You still need to survive in business. So you have to pay for the location,
Yeah.
all the utilities and everything. So That was the failure part of it. But even that has a potential.
Yeah.
Like simple thing. Every deal you see out there, it has a potential.
Mm.
But you just don't see it because you probably have this mental block which is stopping you from seeing it.
Mm.
So that is anything. That's anything basically.
Mm. Thank you for your answer. And definitely, false beliefs are something that a lot of people put roadblocks and they don't make it happen.
Right.
And my last question for you is, when you became a mom, did your priority change, or was it still like, I want to focus on business? And maybe a sub question to it is, currently that your kids are growing, and how are they looking up to their mom that is really busy as a strong businesswoman?
Um, it is so different if I was not in business and if I was an employee
Mm.
um, for my kids because I my lifestyle changed. The way I am changed. I'm
Mm.
as a person. I changed a lot with the business. So I do. So for business, I started doing affirmations. In the morning, I do like I am successful. I'm amazing. I can do it. All of these affirmations started coming to me, and she was getting sick and everything. But I told her, you are Inaya is strong and healthy, right?
Mm.
I used to give these affirmations to her, and that affirmations helped her out. And then also like I do meditate. I do like a lot of internal work before I get out there.
Mm.
So those are part of my morning routine, like meditations. And all of that helped her as well in a way that when she really really gets sick, I see her like going into this quiet mode of like just me and my inner power.
Mm.
And then one day, now she's doing good and she don't have any health issues. She's amazing, she's going to school and all that. But one day she was doing this affirmation of like, and I is strong and healthy. And I'm like, you still remember that? I was doing that with you, like when you were not even like talking properly. Uh, so she was like raising her hand and saying that. I'm like, oh my God, if I wasn't all of this what I am, I probably would have raised my kids differently.
Mm.
And they understands like, oh yeah, mom is doing something different.
Mm.
And as a household, like my household changed a lot after coming to business. Like we are 100% different from um, being an employee background family. We're not in a rush. We have the opportunity to actually give kids the time they want. That's the wonderful thing we happen for us, that if I want to actually like spend time with them and I want to stay with them, I could, which I couldn't if I was an employee. I had to show up over there in the morning. Like even just recently, I was looking at one of our aunties here. First thing in the morning, she was putting on, like last winter time. I went to visit her. She put on a jacket and snow pants on her baby who was sleeping at 5:30 in the morning so she can run to work.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God, my Mateo was sleeping quietly in bed, and I'm seeing this. You know, um, those are some amazing things happen to me for my kids and myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Anu, for answers. And if you guys have any questions to Anu, feel free to post them on the comments, and probably she will answer them in the next episode. So,
Exactly, I will
perfect.
100%.